So the Rosewood Hotel is based in High Holborn, and their afternoon tea is based around art. So it changes through the year depending on what art exhibition they decide to base it on. So at the moment, they're basing their afternoon tea on an art exhibition by David Hockney. So what you'll find is that the sweets will be inspired by that art exhibition. So going to afternoon tea there today. I've heard really good things about it, and I just hope I hope it doesn't disappoint me, because what I find sometimes is these things get so hyped up and say, oh, it's so good, it's so this, it's so that, and then when you go, you're just disappointed. So please, I hope I don't get disappointed. Let's go for this afternoon tea. Okay, so this is the next day, obviously. I'm doing a review the next day. The service here was like impeccable, probably the best service I've had in all the afternoon teas that I've reviewed. So loved the service. Now the sandwiches, I swapped out one of my sandwiches because one of the sandwiches, or savouries I should say, had chicken in it. So I ended up having sort of 2 lobster rolls and a cucumber sandwich and a sort of, it was kind of type of crisp bread with salmon on it. The lobster roll is really nice because I'm not a massive fan of lobster. I don't really eat lobster, but I think having that, I will definitely have lobster going forward. The cucumber sandwich, I don't know what it is about cucumber sandwiches in afternoon teas, that the bread is always a little bit hard. I don't know why. It was a little bit hard, a little bit stale. And the salmon on the little crisp bread, the salmon to me, it was nice, but it was a tiny little bit watery, which I don't know if that was what it was supposed to be, but yeah. But so in terms of the savouries, the lobster roll was the best thing. Onto the scones. The scones were lovely, they were warm. We had 1 raisin and 1 plain. In terms of on top of the, what went on top of the scones, your traditional jam and cream. I think it was strawberry jam. Also had lemon curd, and the lemon curd for me, nice, but wasn't lemony enough. I said to my friend, Morrison's lemon curd was better than this. It wasn't lemony enough for me, but it was still perfectly fine. Now the sweets. Why do the sweets always disappoint me? So we had what they called pre-dessert. The pre-dessert wasn't too bad. So one of them was a kind of like show pastry, which was quite hard and didn't like it. And then the other pre-dessert, the square, they had all these names. If I remember, I'll put the names in. It was, I think it had yuzu in it and it had chocolate chip. It was actually really nice. That was nice. But the green show pastry thing, didn't like it. Then we had like the main desserts, which were beautiful. Like the desserts are always beautiful in afternoon teas, and then the taste is always disappointing. So the purple one, which is cheesecake, it was so nice. Like it was, we finished that. Then the next one, a kind of square blue one, it had Earl Grey in it. And the thing of Earl Grey can be very strong, a very strong sort of fragrant flavour. And for me, it just didn't work well in this dessert, didn't like it. And then the last dessert is very pretty, the pink sort of ball. It had cherry and pistachio, and you may not know, I love pistachio, but for me the pistachio taste wasn't pronounced enough, and it didn't go with the cherry. It didn't go with the cherry, so didn't like that one either. So again, I suppose 1 out of 3 ain't bad, the fact we actually finished one of them. But yeah, the desserts just, yeah, didn't work for me. So the drinking tea, I ended up having Earl Grey because I always do. That's my default tea. That was fun. My friend had, I think, I can't remember what she had. I know one of them was like an Assam type tea, which is quite sort of citrusy, and I had a little bit of it, and it was actually quite nice. The cost, now the basic afternoon tea here is £75. There's additional add-ons, like if you want a cocktail, if you want champagne, which takes up into the early 90s, and we're like, no, we just want the basic afternoon tea. But because they saw that we didn't finish 2 of our main desserts, they actually gave us a discount. We didn't ask for it, they gave us a discount. So it worked out between us, it was like £69 each, which was very nice and generous of them. I think for them it's always about creating a good impression. What I did say to them was that we didn't like it, but it's a personal taste, isn't it? Not to say other people wouldn't like it, but they still gave us a discount, so I'm not going to say no to that. So in general, I really like this afternoon tea. The venue is beautiful. It's such a beautiful venue. I can see it being used for events like weddings, receptions. It's a beautiful venue. And in general, I did like this afternoon tea. We were there for about 2.5 hours just chatting. It was really nice. So that's my review. Let me know in the comments if you've been to this afternoon tea. And also I always ask you lot a question. I think I've asked this before, but I'll ask it again. What's your favourite part of an afternoon tea? Until next time, cake lovers.